everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cooking with CandiWare, and today we're going to be making best friend pizza necklaces. Hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I am Candice, or better known as CandiWare, and this is Blaze, my little co-host. And today we will be teaching you how to make little pizza BFF necklaces. Now this was a custom order for a friend at a craft show, and I think they turned out great. I loved the idea of taking a pizza and slice it into 4 so that you and your best friends could have some best friend necklaces. And again, in the theme of Love Month, let's show some love to our friends. So that's how this item came about. So this item is pretty simple to make. Like always, or not like always, but sometimes I suggest to look at the icing video, so that is what we're going to be using in this video for our cheese, if you can believe it. But it works very well, so you can find that in the description box below. Also, don't forget that I always have my kit up there, or I should say down there, a link that has all of the items that I'm using in this DIY, so don't forget to check that out if you have any questions about what I'm using. And also don't forget that if you are subscribed and you want to receive notifications, to click on the little bell so you know when we're making new videos here. And without further ado, let's get right into the DIY. So here are all the tools, and don't forget to check out the kit down below to find out how to make this. So first you're going to be taking some white and some pink, also a little bit of red and translucent, and you're just going to be chopping this up. I'm sorry about it being out of focus, but honestly this is really simple. You're just going to keep chopping until you're happy with the way that it looks in regards to marbleization. And once you're satisfied with this, I'm going to stress, don't mix it. You want to be very soft with it. And then once you're happy with it, you're going to roll it into a log, and I like to stick it in the freezer for about 10 minutes before I cut it. So I do this as my first step so that I can work on the pizza and come back to this afterwards. So now we're going to be making the pizza, and I have translucent clay with Sahara, so it's about a half and half mixture, and you're just going to mix that up until you have made that into one big piece. And then from there you're going to make it into a nice ball, and then I like to use sandpaper on the back half so that you can push this down onto the sandpaper so you don't have to worry about adding any texture to the end. So you're just going to be pushing the inside and leaving the exterior so that you have the crust, and this is what the back looks like. And then you're just going to lightly dab it upside down so that the top will get some texture, and then you can use some foil if you wish to add a little bit more texture to that, and then some light and dark brown chalk pastels, first with the light, and then just add that on very gently, and then going in with the dark. And then just adding more texture to the sides, and then you can take your sandpaper away. And now we're going to be mixing some translucent and rolling it into a super thin little snake. The reason for this is going to be adding on the little bits of melted cheese on the outside. So you're just going to put this every which way until you're satisfied with the look, and then you're just going to keep going. Keep in mind you can put as much or as little of the cheese as you want, so just keep going until you have it completely filled. So as you can see, I'm just going over it a little bit more just to make sure that it looks filled up. And now we're going to be adding on some chalk pastels in the light brown first.
and you're going over the crust and the cheese. And then we're going in for just some highlights with the dark brown. So as you can see, it mostly just covers up the cheese and it looks really cute that way. So at this point, I'm going to be cutting this into 4 slices, since this is best friend necklaces for 4 different women. And now I'm going to be taking some wire and cutting 4 of them off. And then from there we're just going to make sure that the crust has enough pigment on it and that it has texture as well. And then we're going to be adding in the little metal piece. And then I'm just going to be using a needle tool just to cover up the hole and adding more pigment if you need to. And you're going to do that for all 4. Now we're going to be texturing the inside of the pizzas. So I like to go in with a toothpick first and then just go in circular motions over the cut crust piece. And then I like to even add a little hole, as you can see there, as the little bubbles you would see inside of the crust. So again, I like to use the toothpick first and then go in for more detail with the needle tool. And you're going to do this on both sides for all of them. Then once you're done that step, I like to use some cherry, which we're going to be using as icing. So pretty much all this is just your liquid FIMO with some red chalk pastels. And at this point you can just add on the sauce wherever you want it to, wherever you would like to. So I like to add a little bit drizzling on the sides and up on top of the crust, and then we're going to be using, like I said in the opening, some vanilla icing, and I'll leave that in the description box below, for the cheese, and we're just going to add that on. And again, have fun with it, add it on however you'd like. Going up and over the top of the crust. Next we're going to be adding on a little bit of a baked look with the dark brown chalk pastel. And then adding on the light one too with a dry brush. And then I'm also going to be using a toothpick and rubbing it on the dark chalk pastel, because now I'm going to be adding in the little holes for what it would look like little oil bubbles or whatever on the cheese, so I'm just adding that on. This is an optional step, but I definitely think it helps with the real look of the necklace. So like I had mentioned before, after leaving your pepperoni in the freezer, so this is what your pepperoni looks like. And we're going to be cutting off however many you would like to stick on your pizza. And now we're going to be adding that on top of the pizza. And then I like to use a dotting tool just to put them in place, and then add a little bit more chalk pastel. And then this is what it looks like before you bake it. And you're going to do that to all of your necklaces, and then bake them according to your clay's instructions. And after that we're going to be adding on some gloss. So I like to add the gloss only to the cheese and the pepperoni areas. And then you're going to let that dry. So once it's dry, you're going to be making a little loop like I've showed you in previous videos for the pizza, and then you're going to add a little clasp and then make it into a necklace.
Thanks so much for crafting with me, everyone, and see you on next Friday's video for another crafty video. Bye!